smile.
Look at that terrible hair.
Okay, we're alive and we're back again. And we do have a few things that we want to talk about today. And of course, we didn't tell anybody we were going live, so we have no idea if anybody's going to join us. If they do, we will include the chatting along with whatever we're doing. So, one of the first things that I want to talk about is the fact that 2020 elections, as we all know, all of us should know by now, Otto Penn did not get 81 million votes. He did not get more votes than Obama and everybody else who's ever run for the rest of the world in the time. So we know that there was cheating that happened. And so, but the 2020 elections will not go away. We are still in the midst of fighting certain court cases. Tina Peters is still in jail for doing her job. And just today or yesterday, the Supreme Court in Nevada has ruled that the Attorney General of Nevada can go ahead and reinstate the charges against the alternate electors for Nevada. Now, as you were saying,
Yeah, I mean, I was in Virginia. I was deeply into Virginia politics, and we always had alternative electors. There was always the regular electors, and then there was the alternative group of electors. In case somebody dropped out, you'd have somebody to replace it with. That was no big deal. That was just par for the course. Wasn't anything illegal about it.
no, but it was also the fact that when you were going to investigate the election, if you found out that the other party, other person, whatever, had actually won the presidency, you had to have alternate electors in place in order to record that vote. I mean, that was I remember them talking about that. Well, I don't remember it in 1960, but I remember the discussions about the 1960 elections where they were concerned about one state in particular was Illinois, and so you had to have the alternate electors in case the investigations turned out otherwise. I was telling Bill before we turned on the camera. Apparently, alternate electors were illegal in 2020, but not illegal in any other election year ever previously. So 2020
That's amazing if that's true. That is amazing.
It is. Well, I mean, obviously, that's tongue in cheek. That's obviously it's not true, but they're making it true that by all of this
Oh, I see. Okay.
by all the illegality that they're doing around the 2020 elections, they're just trying to cover up for all the stuff they did. I know just recently there was a report on all the dead people who voted in Michigan, and some of these dead people actually voted in person. That's a little scary. I mean, normally dead people vote in the mail-in voting, absentee voting or something like that. But some of these dead people voted in person, and I want to meet them. I would just like to say, what is it like? Why are you still voting in elections down here?
So that after they counted the ballots, they would sit around at a table and go, okay, how many more do we need in this county, that county, and
right.
they just add them right there.
No, I'm talking about the people who actually voted in person who were dead. I just would like to meet them. That because that's kind of interesting. They actually walked in and voted. I don't know. It's a little scary. But that's one of the things that we know there were so many illegalities. We have proof and proof and proof. And one of these, and Tina Peters, they are actually working on trying to get her pardoned. I think I'm not really sure what the situation is with her. I know that President Trump, correct me if I'm wrong, can pardon federal crimes.
Is that in Arizona? Is she in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the group that was illegally put into office instead of what's her name?
Carrie Lake?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tina Peters is still in jail, and they were talking about a pardon for her, but I'm saying that
that might be a state function only.
Right. I don't know what the charges are, and maybe somebody out there knows. We do have some people who jumped on. Yay! I can't.
Yeah, Obama fan, fix a bike. Hello, and Obama fan. Hope all is well with Beth and Bill. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
all is well.
great.
All is well with us. We had a minor incident today where our smallest dog, Molly, the black and white one, who only weighs 6 pounds, disappeared for about 2 hours. I couldn't find her anywhere, and it's kind of unusual for her because she's 11, so she doesn't go too far from
I
home.
think she was looking for me.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. Bill was playing tennis, so she was a little bit nervous about that. The other thing that I noticed that was happening recently is Eric Swalwell has joined the groups of of Adam Schiff and Letitia James, who are all being charged or investigated for charges concerning mortgage fraud, where they are all listing this house as their principal residence, and it isn't. And so they get a lower rate because it's their principal residence, but it's not their principal residence. And so they're all being charged with that.
It's a scam that circulated amongst the Democrats in order to they allow them all to make some extra money.
Yeah. So I don't, yeah. I really I don't know enough about mortgage fraud and whatever to understand it, but I do know that Eric Swalwell is the latest person to be listed on that on the list of people being investigated for that. They just, as you said, they just use it to get a better rate. Oh, but one of the stories that I found interesting, we were talking about all these recent elections, Bill, with Virginia in particular, and one of the things that has happened across in the elections of recent was school boards being overturned. In other words, parents are upset and they're voting all these Republican school board members in and getting rid of the Democrat members because they're tired of the transgender mess and going along with the men in girls' locker rooms and playing in girls' sports, etc. And so it occurred to me that as we were talking about last time, well, why in the world would you elect a bunch of Republicans to serve on your school board and then vote for a Democrat governor who is going to uphold all of the transgender mess you're trying to get rid of?
Because the Democrat governor actually didn't get those votes.
That's what I
That's
think.
the only answer.
That's exactly what I think.
Now, there are some comments here, and that's I'm in Maricopa County, and the lady you were talking about got 9 years.
Yeah, Tina Peters. And
Right.
I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I know that Ed Martin is working on her case, but I don't understand it fully enough to make any sense about it.
They've either got to let her go, or they've got to jail all these Democrats for 9 years.
And
you know what's going to happen there.
Speaking of Democrats, Senator Fetterman is in the hospital. I don't know, he fell. Apparently,
he fell and hit his head.
He apparently had some sort of situation that caused him to fall. And I don't know if he's still in the hospital, but he is a person that is, I tell you what, when he first won that election, he couldn't even put two words together. You know, he couldn't speak any better than Biden. He had a stroke, right? He was in the hospital for a while. He couldn't say anything. And now he's being very, he's speaking very well. And he is coming out against the Democrats every time he turns around. He's saying something, the shutdown was their fault, which it was. He voted to reopen the government, which is a good thing, with 7 other Democrat senators, because they were all getting in trouble. But it's a very interesting thing I'm seeing in the Democrat Party. Normally they stick together, they stick like glue, they stay as one. You can't pull off one or two. Joe Manchin, who was actually an independent, but Joe Manchin would vote against the Democrats, and he always said he got punished for it. And so now you see 6 House members voting with the Republicans and 8 senators voting with the Republicans to end the Schumer shutdown, and all of them are blaming Schumer. They're not even pretending. I saw a Democrat strategist on TV the other day saying, "Yeah, this is the Democrats' fault. I don't know what they're going to do now. They eat this. They own this."
Yeah, well, you got people jumping ship because they think the ship is going down, and the ship is the uh, SS Schumer.
Well, when do you know, hon, when can they just call a vote on a new leader at any given time? Is that
I don't know that.
because they tried to get rid of McConnell at one time and that didn't work. And I don't know what the protocol is, but I have a feeling that the Democrats, they don't really necessarily care about protocol. So they might just vote him out in a secret ballot. I mean, they're just not telling what they'll do.
Well, I haven't even heard anybody talk about the procedure just because everybody's treating it like it's going to be a fait accompli. In other words, no matter what, it's going to happen.
That Schumer's going to be out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know with them because they're always big talkers about all kinds of things like that.
Not things like that.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty unusual to have essentially a palace coup against the Democrat leader.
Well, AOC has been threatening Chuck Schumer for a long time with, running herself in his.
Good luck with that, AOC.
Well, not that I have a whole lot. If she's been threatening to primary him, not that I have a whole lot of faith in her, but I am saying that you've been hearing these. And who's that other? Toledo, what is her name? I always forget her name.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about. She is coming out strong against him. Now nobody seems to be blaming Hakeem Jeffries, but I think he is just as much to blame in all of that.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, they are. He's on the cutting board.
Well, he's
good. Gone too.
Good, because I don't like him either. He is one dishonest son of a gun. And I just, from the beginning, I mean, I did notice that BBC has initiated a formal apology to President Trump.
Right.
Too little, too late, but they admit that what they did was wrong.
Right.
So
that's a good thing.
That's always a good thing. You can't just go around making up news. Well, that's what they've been doing, though. I mean,
not without getting caught eventually, and something the public forcing them to say something about it, to admit it, and say they're not going to do it again.
Well, they had to fire somebody. They probably have to fire more people, and I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't go to CNN and MSNBC and all the others to have to get rid of somebody or have to eat crow about it, because that was just bad what they did with that.
Yeah, but I don't think the American networks were as bold in their cutting up of Trump's remarks, were they? I don't think so.
They ran exactly the same thing that BBC did. They ran exactly the same, I think the same exact clips.
The same thing as what?
As BBC did.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Citing BBC as a source, maybe to try to keep their nose clean.
I will say that I did see a video of Kristi Noem handing out $10,000 bonus checks to the TSA people who stayed on the job, didn't call in sick, didn't use vacation time or whatever, but worked. I tell you what, if I had been one that had called in sick, I'd be kicking myself about now.
Yeah.
Miss out on $10,000 bonus. That's a big chunk of change right there. That's not going to hurt. And President Trump is adamant about the $2,000 check that from the tariffs money that he is planning on giving Americans. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how you have to qualify, but it has to go through Congress.
Well, they'll probably make it. I don't know. I don't know what the qualifications will be. I don't want to speculate.
Yeah, and of course it has a bill has to be written in Congress, and they have to go through that way. But if he had a way to do it outside, he would. Outside of Congress.
Oh, Yeah. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I mean, I don't know how many people you're talking about, but 2,000 times whatever. But I think that I don't know how many air traffic controllers there are, you know.
So somebody just put up Hoppy now. Early voting tells Democrats how many votes they need to
Right,
make up.
right,
Absolutely.
right.
That's why they held the votes during the Kennedy election, the JFK election. I remember because my parents had a tradition of staying up all night until
Mhm.
the announcement was made and the votes were counted, and so it was big news at the time amongst all the various news broadcasters, Huntley, Brinkley, etc. Why haven't the votes shown up from Chicago?
Right,
What's delaying that? Well, they knew darn good and well. They were just pointing out that it's happening. And,
right.
that's,
And the mob was on time. Yes, they've always done that, and that's one reason why they push early voting, and that's one reason why they push the mail-in ballots because it makes it easier to cheat. But it's one reason why I argue with the RNC about doing early voting. They say, well, the Republicans always wait until the voting day to vote. That's what we should do. And the Democrats, as you just pointed out, use those numbers of when the votes are coming in from early voting, they know what they need to make up. They're not going to know what they need to make up if we Republicans would vote on election day, then it would make it harder for them to make it up. And that's exactly what happened in 2016 because we had that monster vote.
oh, so you're saying that it's a good thing if the Republicans by themselves stop announcing the results of the incoming votes before election day. Or do they? Do they do that?
No, well, they can tell. I mean, they
They can
tabulate them.
see.
I'm not saying announce that the Republicans shouldn't announce them. It's not the Republicans announce them. I'm saying Republicans who vote should not vote early because if you vote early, then they have the tabulation from that and they can sort of gauge how many votes they need, which is exactly, as I said, what happened in 2016. They didn't know, they were caught off guard, and the monster vote kicked in for President Trump, and they were not expecting that. And that's what I find we should not do early voting because you do get it gives them the numbers, then they have more to gauge by.
I want to make a comment on somebody's comment
Yeah.
here. Christopher McCown, have you done any research on U.S. migrating to gold-backed stablecoins on the XRP ledger and other ISO 20,002 or 20,022 crypto? I'm totally opposed as using gold to be the base material. And the reason is it became evident in 1000 AD. So, however, it was over 1,000 years ago when King Henry uh, took gold out of the system just because gold is easy to hypothecate, and that means since you can't really trade grams of gold very readily or efficiently or honestly, uh, it necessitates the use of paper gold receipts, and so the people who hold most of the gold, the gold dealers, it's just inevitable that they'll forge paper gold receipts, and so that having gold as a basic tenet of the U.S. monetary system is the worst thing you could do.
Wow. And somebody commented on no more pennies. You know, they stopped
Yeah,
coining pennies. That sort of makes me sad.
yeah.
But hold on to your pennies because pretty soon they'll be pretty scarce. Might take a while.
I had a big 5-gallon water bottle filled with pennies,
Yeah,
and I think I gave it to my son, and he turned them in about 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah,
Too bad.
yeah, yeah,
Oh well.
yeah. Just hold on to them. You never know. I mean, it, I don't know. I understand why they're doing it, but it still makes me kind of sad. I don't know. Sounds
Yeah, well,
silly.
Christopher responded, well, it rumored that it'll be fully audited, micrograms of gold in fraction on crypto. Yeah, I mean, they'll always say something like that.
And they still haven't audited Fort Knox. And
Right,
President Trump
right.
said he was going to do that. And Elon Musk was going to do that. And they were going to go down there and audit Fort Knox.
Wah, wah.
But I don't know. They didn't
You
do
know
it.
why? Because it's not there.
I know.
And what is there is not pure gold. It's been recast.
But they were going to prove whether it was there or not. And maybe they decided it wasn't a good idea to prove it's not there.
Exactly.
And so then they quit because they were going to go. I remember Elon Musk. I can't remember who else was going to go, but they were going to go count the
Well,
gold.
definitely Trump was going to go.
I think so.
I remember.
Yeah.
For sure. There's not much I remember at this age. Just saying.
Well, we won't go there. But anyway, sorry. So, was there something else that you wanted to talk about? Because
No.
it's been okay. Well, I think we're going to call it a night for
Good.
tonight.
Okay.
And
that's a nice little rundown.
That's a nice little rundown
that you
things.
did in my absence because I wasn't here for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Playing tennis.
Yeah.
At my age.
Well,
of fools.
no.
Whatever.
Just because. Okay, he's upset because he lost.
Yeah.
And he's not used to losing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a.
Well, it's just I was playing in a league that has a lot younger people in it. So I'm one of the oldest too.
Yeah, they're a lot younger, but they're still not as young as I am.
That's true. I married a baby.
Well, something like that. All right, let's see if there. He would. Okay, I think we'll say good night. God bless. And until
and when will we do this again?
Whenever we decide to.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that's
we have
the element of surprise.
No, we have a standing live YouTube for Wednesdays at noon.
Right, Eastern.
Noon Eastern. Yes, thank you. But other than that, it's whenever
surprise.
whenever we decide to jump on and see what's cooking that day. So thank you for jumping on with us. We are happy to see you, and we are going to say goodbye.
Other than respond to Mr. McCown, and thank you very much for saying that we're usually right. On that particular subject, I have studied it in depth.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.